I do house calls with celebrities all over the country, bro. You hear me? Who are blessed like you. And sometimes it takes for somebody to come in and just speak a little life into them. That's why I'm here. He did this today because he loves you and cares about you, bro. But he's tired of you throwing your life away. At 16, little bro, you got a big future ahead of you, bro. And if you don't turn this corner right now today, your future ain't gonna be the same tomorrow. That I can promise you. Go ahead.
I want you to look at my face. And look at my eyes, right? And see, do I give a fuck? No. I'm gonna fuck what you're talking about. I built this shit, I did this shit. I'm gonna fuck, I'm in it. It's a lifestyle.
Rakai has become one of the most talked about young streamers on the internet right now, and not always for reasons people would expect. It's not just about skill or entertainment. Instead, a lot of the attention comes from the drama that seems to follow him everywhere he goes. Somehow, situation after situation turns into another debate about whether he crossed a line or showed a lack of respect. Even at a young age, he has already earned a reputation for being unpredictable, reckless, and constantly testing the patience of the people around him. His rise happened incredibly fast because of his connection with Kai, but the headlines and controversies never really slowed down after that. Many viewers feel his online image is built around shocking moments, bold behavior, and doing or saying whatever gets the biggest reaction from the crowd.
Hey, Rakai, hold on.
Rakai, you gotta chill, bro.
What you keep doing with his daughter, bro? That's his daughter, man.
No, it's her. We're not, yo, bro, she 20.
Kev.
I'll be honest
Put a shirt on, bro.
That's the first time I almost.
Yeah, put a shirt on, bro. Chill.
You hear me? Don't you tell me what the she is.
Rakai is originally from Syracuse, New York, and many people first found out about him because of his close connection to Kai and AMP. He was introduced through the AMPG League, which was designed to showcase a new generation of rising creators and give them a chance to build an audience alongside bigger names. Almost right away, viewers began noticing how much Rakai's style, energy, and behavior seemed similar to Kai's. Social media quickly filled with comments calling him Kai's clone, or even Kai's minion, because the comparisons were hard to miss. But many fans pointed out one major difference. Kai spent years building his platform, sharpening his content, and learning how to handle the spotlight without letting every situation spin completely out of control.
Stop fucking. No. That ass, no, swear to God, I stole the You supposed to do?
Literally, that is what they were laughing at.
Rakai stepped into the spotlight incredibly fast, but unlike some creators who spend years learning the ropes, he was suddenly in front of a massive audience without much experience behind him. A lot of his content quickly became known for trolling, wild antics, and doing unexpected things that could grab attention and spread across social media. The bigger the reaction, the more people seemed to talk about it. Before I became unemployed, I barely paid attention to streamer content because I was focused on other things in my day-to-day life. But after losing my job, I somehow ended up going deep down a strange internet rabbit hole. Before I even realized what was happening, I was watching streamers all the time, and this was the very first Rakai clip I came across.
Vaping, bro. That's not okay, bro. Stop vaping. Bro. He just showed me recent videos you vaping, gang. Stop doing that shit, gang. Because you want to go and troll him, and the whole time you vaping on the road.
I troll him too much.
You troll him the whole time. He got videos you vape.
I swear, man, this guys, never embarrass another man in front of a woman like that. That is not cool at all. Even if Dobbo really did have an issue, many people would argue there are some things you just do not call out in front of everyone. Publicly putting someone on the spot like that can instantly turn an awkward moment into a viral clip for all the wrong reasons. The surprising part is that this kind of behavior can actually perform well on streaming platforms in 2025 because so much attention is driven by short, shareable moments rather than long-form content. The louder, messier, or more outrageous a clip is, the faster it can spread across social media. Because of that, many viewers feel Rakai often leans heavily into shock value to keep people talking. That criticism became even louder during Kai's recent massive subathon, which was one of the biggest streaming events of the year. Instead of staying out of trouble, Rakai found himself involved in more situations that created tension around the people with him. At one point, he began trolling Dez, another member connected to the group who was attempting a personal challenge to go 30 days without smoking.
Change your code.
Yo, hold on. Yo. Stop.
Everybody knows that when someone is dealing with withdrawal, they often need extra patience, understanding, and a little room to manage what they are going through. Emotions can already be running high, which can make even small disagreements feel much bigger than they normally would. But according to many viewers, Rakai did not ease up and continued pushing Des during the situation. What began as trolling reportedly escalated into a heated argument, with accusations of threats being made and offensive language being used in front of a massive live audience. Rather than calming down once tensions started rising, the situation appeared to become even more chaotic, and viewers quickly called out how messy and out of control everything looked.
He's 16! The nigga's a kid! He's a kid! He's a kid!
The biggest problem for many viewers was not just Rakai acting immature, it was when it happened. The situation unfolded during someone else's major professional event, putting Kai in an extremely uncomfortable position while members of his own circle were involved in public drama in front of a huge live audience. What should have been a moment focused on the event suddenly became overshadowed by controversy and distractions. For a lot of viewers, this was the point where they began questioning how much respect Rakai had for the people around him, including the creators who helped introduce him to a larger audience in the first place. To some, it no longer looked like harmless trolling or playful antics. Instead, it seemed like attention-grabbing behavior that reflected poorly on Kai in front of his entire fan base. Still, as he has done before, Kai stepped in to defend him, reminding people that Rakai is still young and learning as he goes.
Go. Where we at? What? Little bro, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, little bro? Yeah.
To be fair, Kai is not completely wrong about that. Rakai is still very young, and people at that stage of life are naturally going to make mistakes, act impulsively, and have moments of immaturity. That is part of growing up. The challenge, however, is that being young can only explain so much when your actions are constantly being broadcast to millions of people online. Once someone reaches Rakai's level of visibility, every argument, outburst, and controversial moment gets magnified almost instantly. Things that might have been seen as ordinary teenage behavior in a private setting can suddenly become viral clips viewed by hundreds of thousands of people across social media. That kind of spotlight changes the stakes completely and puts much more attention on every decision. Many viewers also began questioning the environment around him because when someone repeatedly pushes boundaries in public without facing much pushback, those moments can slowly become part of their online image. Over time, audiences may start expecting chaos whenever the camera goes live, and that can create pressure to keep delivering bigger reactions and more dramatic moments. According to critics, that is when the situation started becoming more complicated for Rakai, as the attention seemed increasingly tied to controversy rather than the content itself. Every time Rakai finds himself at the center of another controversy, his age is often brought up as the main explanation for his behavior. While many people agree that being young comes with a learning curve, others have started pushing back on using that reason every single time. They point out that plenty of people around the same age manage to avoid creating the same level of public drama and controversy. Some viewers have also compared Rakai to creators like Kai and iShowSpeed when they were younger. While those creators definitely had their share of chaotic and memorable moments, critics argue that they are not remembered for constantly being involved in situations that left people questioning how they treated those around them. Because of that, some people feel the "he's just young" argument becomes less convincing if the same issues continue happening over and over again. That is why many critics believe accountability is just as important as understanding. By that stage in life, most people already have a basic sense of what is appropriate and what can create problems, especially when everything is happening in front of huge online audiences. Some viewers have even suggested that Rakai sometimes comes across as someone who has not faced many consequences for his actions. Their concern is that if the behavior keeps getting brushed aside rather than addressed, the situations could become even bigger as his platform continues to grow. One thing many people learn over time is that actions often come with consequences, and eventually those consequences can become impossible to ignore. The difficult part is seeing situations escalate to the point where someone ends up damaging their reputation or missing valuable opportunities that might have been avoided with better judgment earlier on. For many viewers, that is why accountability matters before problems grow into something much bigger. According to critics, the overtime Megan situation pushed concerns about Rakai's online behavior to another level.
Overtime Meg! Overtime Megan? You ain't see that leak? That was crazy!
He's a wild boy.
That was crazy!
During a stream, he reportedly made jokes referencing Megan's leaked private content, which many viewers felt was inappropriate given the personal nature of the situation. Critics argued that a sensitive private matter should not have been turned into entertainment, especially in front of a large live audience watching the stream unfold.
Amy, Miss Amy, as long as you're Miss Amy, was that lady yes or no? Miss Amy, what time did they walk into your classroom? I was watching from my phone. 11:00. No,
I know Holy Bible wasn't late. How you tell me?
Oh my God, I walked into the gym at 10:59.
I was not late.
I see stuff coming like this. Trying to tell Miss Amy, yeah, he came in late.
I was on time.
You could see the reaction on Kai's face almost immediately after the comment was made. According to many viewers, the atmosphere changed right away, and it was clear the moment had landed differently than some of the other jokes or trolling that had happened before. The mood shifted, and people watching quickly began discussing whether the situation had gone too far. Megan later responded publicly, and many viewers felt the situation made Rakai appear immature and disrespectful. Critics argued that the issue was not just about one comment, but about how it reflected on his overall image. For someone trying to build a long-term future in streaming, creating controversy with other influencers over sensitive topics struck many people as a risky and short-sighted move. Once again, viewers accused Rakai of prioritizing shock value and viral moments over showing basic respect to others. And once again, his age became a major point of debate. While some people saw it as a mistake made by a young creator, others felt it crossed a line. If there is one incident many critics point to when discussing Rakai's overall reputation, it is what happened during Streamer University. The entire goal of the program was to give up-and-coming creators a chance to learn new skills, collaborate with others, and improve their content in a more professional setting. It was supposed to be an opportunity to network, grow, and show that they could handle bigger stages. But according to reports and viewer discussions, Rakai appeared to treat the experience more like a place for non-stop antics than a serious learning environment. The controversy grew even larger when he and others reportedly began firing Orbeez at people, and one incident allegedly resulted in a participant suffering an eye injury. That moment immediately changed how many people viewed the situation. What some had previously dismissed as harmless trolling or attention-seeking behavior suddenly felt much more serious because someone was reportedly hurt. Critics began asking why so many situations involving Rakai seemed to escalate beyond simple jokes or pranks. For a lot of viewers, Streamer University looked like the perfect chance for him to show growth, maturity, and the ability to take advantage of major opportunities in a responsible way. Instead, much of the discussion surrounding the event once again focused on controversy, disruptive behavior, and accusations that people were pushing things too far in pursuit of attention and viral moments. And this is where the debate around Rakai becomes much bigger than just one creator. Many critics argue that modern streaming culture often rewards the loudest, most dramatic, and most reckless moments because controversy spreads across the internet far faster than ordinary content. In their view, that creates an environment where shocking behavior can sometimes generate more attention than consistency, creativity, or professionalism. The more outrageous a moment is, the faster it gets clipped, reposted, shared across social media, and turned into massive engagement. For a creator like Rakai, whose rise was closely tied to attention-grabbing moments, many critics believe that can create a difficult cycle. Once an audience starts expecting shocking content, there can be pressure to keep delivering bigger reactions and even more dramatic moments just to stay in the spotlight. According to viewers who criticize his content, that can make it easy to lose sight of where the limits should be. What may have started as content meant to entertain eventually became much more controversial when incidents reportedly led to real-world consequences.
Why was he getting in the classroom so much?
He had to go to the bathroom once, and then he was throwing food, and he wouldn't stop, and I had to stand between them, so I said, leave so we can get something done in peace. Because they were acting up today.
Why y'all giving Miss Amy a hard time?
I said, if you leave, it's either you leave or I leave, and he walked out.
Many viewers felt frustrated because they did not see enough accountability after some of the situations that sparked criticism. And for them, it was not just about a single event. They pointed to repeated arguments, disruptive pranks, interruptions, and moments where Rakai appeared to create problems for the people around him, leading some to believe the pattern went far beyond one isolated mistake. By this point, a growing number of fans no longer viewed the behavior as harmless trolling or chaotic fun. Instead, critics argued that some of the actions were beginning to look irresponsible and, in certain situations, potentially risky. As more controversies stacked up, viewers increasingly questioned how long Kai and others in Rakai's circle would continue defending, excusing, or tolerating the behavior. The biggest frustration for many critics is that they believe each controversy seems to follow a familiar pattern. In their view, Rakai gets involved in a situation, faces backlash or criticism, moves on from it, and then eventually finds himself at the center of another controversy not long afterward. Because of that, some viewers feel the real issue is not any one incident, but the perception that the same lessons never fully seem to stick. Every time Rakai ends up in another controversy, his age quickly becomes one of the biggest talking points. Some people view it as an important factor, while others argue it gets used too often as a defense. Critics point out that Rakai appears to have a strong understanding of how internet culture works. They believe he knows that reckless moments, heated exchanges, and attention-grabbing behavior can generate clips, reactions, and massive engagement across social media platforms. That ongoing debate is a big reason why he has become such a polarizing figure online. For every viewer who finds his antics funny and entertaining, there are others who see him as a young creator with major opportunities who is risking his reputation through repeated controversies. The divide between those two viewpoints has only grown larger as more incidents have been added to the conversation. And according to many critics, those situations were far from the only examples that fueled concerns about his behavior. Another major controversy unfolded during his time in the classroom with Ms. Amy, a moment that went on to become one of the most talked about clips of his career. The interaction sparked intense reactions online because many viewers felt the exchange came across as highly disrespectful. What makes the story even more surprising is that it reportedly began over something incredibly small and simple. Rakai and Tota reportedly arrived late to class, which on its own might not have been a huge issue. For many people, it seemed like something that could have been quickly acknowledged and then forgotten. But instead of simply accepting responsibility and moving forward, Rakai allegedly continued disputing whether they were actually late and kept arguing the point in front of everyone present. That disagreement is what turned a small situation into a much bigger talking point online.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, but it wasn't enough when...
I'm telling you,
but it wasn't enough when Dez and Punga and Reggie had to stop smoking. But it's enough for you without the phone.
Gosh,
it wasn't enough when you pissed off Miss Amy. It wasn't enough when you came late. It wasn't enough when you used lie. It wasn't enough when you write 500 times about accountability.
Guess what? Miss Amy. Yeah, I said it.
When Ms. Amy, whom many viewers described as patient, calm, and genuinely kind, tried to address the situation, Rakai reportedly continued arguing rather than letting the issue go. According to people who watched the clip, he kept pushing back, offering excuses, and refusing to accept what she was saying, which only made the exchange more tense. At one point, viewers noticed his body language while Ms. Amy was speaking to him, and that quickly became another major topic of discussion online. Many people felt his posture and gestures came across as dismissive and disrespectful, especially since she was simply trying to manage the classroom and keep order. To critics, the reaction made the situation look far worse than it needed to be. What could have been a minor disagreement continued to grow because neither the attention nor the argument seemed to stop. Ms. Amy also claimed that Rakai and Tota had been throwing food at each other during class, creating distractions and making it harder for her to teach effectively. According to viewers, instead of helping calm the room down when concerns were raised, Rakai appeared to lean further into the situation, laughing, joking about it, and treating the growing tension like part of the entertainment rather than a problem that needed to be addressed. Eventually, the tension reportedly reached a point where Ms. Amy, who had spent the entire time trying to handle the class respectfully and keep things on track, appeared genuinely overwhelmed by everything that was happening. According to viewers, she told Rakai that either she would have to leave the classroom or he would need to leave because the situation had become too difficult to manage effectively. Rather than accepting responsibility or attempting to calm things down, Rakai reportedly chose to walk out of the classroom altogether. For many people watching, that decision only added to the criticism and made the entire interaction appear even more disrespectful than it already had.
I want you to look at my face. Look at my eyes, right? You see, do I give a fuck? No. I'm gonna fuck what you're talking about. I built this shit, I did this shit. I'm gonna fuck, I'm in it. It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
That is what left a lot of viewers confused. From their perspective, Ms. Amy had remained patient, respectful, and calm throughout most of the interaction, which led many people online to ask the same question: why treat her like that in the first place? The more clips spread across social media, the more that question kept coming up in discussions and reaction videos. Even when consequences reportedly started being introduced, such as the possibility of losing access to his PS5 or certain streaming privileges, Many viewers felt Rakai still was not taking the situation seriously. According to critics, instead of showing much concern or regret, he continued laughing, joking around, and treating the controversy like another source of content. That perception only grew stronger when the console was eventually destroyed as part of an effort to teach him a lesson. But even after that, many viewers believed the punishment did not have a lasting effect because Rakai appeared to mock the situation afterward rather than reflect on it. In the eyes of critics, that reaction reinforced the idea that previous consequences had not changed much. The controversy eventually led into the so-called prison doctor intervention, another attempt by people around him to emphasize that actions can carry real consequences and responsibilities. The intervention was reportedly organized to help Rakai understand just how rare his position was and how much he stood to lose if the controversies continued piling up. The message was centered around the idea that millions of aspiring creators would love to have the kind of exposure, audience, and opportunities he had been given. According to viewers, the interventionist argued that repeatedly disrespecting the people around him could put those opportunities at risk. The message itself was direct and difficult to ignore. It reportedly highlighted how Kai had helped provide a platform, visibility, and connections that accelerated Rakai's rise online. The interventionist also pointed to several past controversies, including allegations of disruptive behavior in class, conflicts with authority figures, and disrespectful interactions with people in his circle, as examples of actions that critics felt reflected poorly on him. Many viewers saw the conversation as a sincere attempt to encourage self-reflection and help him think about where his choices might lead in the future. Normally, a discussion like that would at least cause someone to pause and consider the criticism being presented. But according to reports, Rakai's response stunned a lot of viewers when he reportedly replied, "I don't care, I built this lifestyle." That reaction immediately became one of the most talked about moments from the entire exchange and sparked another wave of debate online.
I'll tell you right now, Rakai is going to be the biggest streamer in the world. He's going to be bigger than anybody you may know. I'm telling you, he's going to be the biggest streamer in the world. Before he does that and shit, I'm just trying to make sure he's on the right path in real life. I'm telling you, gang. I'm telling you, he will. He's going to be bigger than me. I'm telling you. He's going to be bigger than anybody you may think is the biggest. I'm telling you, chat. I'm telling you. But, bro, his real life traits, it got to change. I'm sorry, bro.
To many viewers, that response raised even more questions about how Rakai viewed the opportunities he had been given. Critics argued that the controversy was no longer just about disagreements with teachers, classmates, or other creators. In their eyes, the conversation had shifted toward his relationship with Kai, the person many believe played a major role in helping him gain exposure and reach a much larger audience. A lot of viewers pointed out that Kai's platform, influence, and support helped create opportunities that accelerated Rakai's rise online. Because of that, some critics felt his comments came across as dismissive of the people who helped him get to where he is today. They also pointed to moments where Rakai reportedly joked about Kai, called him names on stream, or downplayed the role that support may have played in his success. Those clips quickly became another source of debate across social media. That is why many fans stopped viewing the situation as simple immaturity or inexperience alone. For critics, the issue was becoming less about individual incidents and more about a pattern they believed kept repeating. In their view, disrespect was beginning to look like a major part of his online image, rather than an occasional mistake. For many viewers, this moment reinforced concerns they had already been expressing for months and intensified the conversation surrounding his reputation moving forward. The challenge with building an audience around constant chaos is that, sooner or later, people start focusing less on the individual moments and more on the pattern behind them. A single controversy can often be dismissed as a mistake. A few incidents might still be explained away as immaturity or poor judgment. But when similar criticisms continue appearing across completely different situations, viewers naturally begin forming stronger opinions about the person involved. That is the position many critics believe Rakai finds himself in today. Every new controversy adds to a reputation that follows him across social media and streaming platforms. Whether the discussion is about arguments with authority figures, disruptive behavior during important events, controversial jokes, or conflicts with people around him, the criticism often returns to the same central question: does he know where the line is? Many viewers argue that he struggles to recognize when enough is enough. At the same time, he still has a loyal group of supporters who continue defending him and believe the criticism is sometimes exaggerated. Some people see him as a young creator who is struggling to adjust to rapid fame, internet pressure, and the expectations that come with a massive audience. Others believe the bigger issue is the culture surrounding online content itself, where outrageous clips can spread faster and generate more attention than consistency, skill, or professionalism. That debate continues to follow nearly every major conversation about Rakai and his future online. But regardless of where people stand on the debate, one thing is hard to deny: Rakai has become one of the most controversial young personalities on the internet right now. With every new headline, clip, or argument, the discussion around his reputation continues to grow. Many viewers believe that if the same patterns continue, the criticism surrounding him will only become louder as his audience gets bigger. For a lot of critics, there came a point where the pattern felt impossible to ignore. Whether the person trying to guide him was a teacher, a mentor, or even Kai himself, viewers often felt the outcome looked very similar. According to critics, Rakai would frequently reject criticism, joke about serious situations, or respond in ways that made it seem like he was not taking the concern seriously. They also point to moments where he reportedly argued with authority figures or treated important conversations more like entertainment than opportunities to learn. What stood out to many viewers was that even after multiple warnings, discussions, and second chances, the same types of controversies seemed to keep happening. Instead of becoming clear learning experiences, critics felt many situations ended with another viral moment and another round of backlash. That repeated cycle is what led some viewers to conclude that the issue was no longer just about youth or occasional mistakes. In their eyes, it began to look like a deeper pattern involving how he responded to criticism and the people around him. What makes the entire situation even more frustrating for many viewers is that Rakai clearly has potential. Even a lot of his critics acknowledge that he has the kind of energy, confidence, and on-camera charisma that naturally grabs attention. He has shown an ability to create memorable moments that spread quickly across social media, which is exactly the type of content many streaming audiences are drawn to today. Kai himself has reportedly said more than once that he believes Rakai has the talent and personality to eventually become one of the biggest streamers in the space if he can fully develop his potential and avoid letting controversy define his career. But plenty of viewers would disagree with that level of praise. Some people simply do not see Rakai reaching the same level as creators like IShowSpeed or even Kai, especially if he continues following the path that has brought him so much criticism. While his rise has been fast and attention-grabbing, many argue that long-term success requires more than just viral moments and controversy. Some critics believe that, in a different scenario, with more discipline, maturity, and stronger relationships with the people around him, Rakai could have positioned himself as one of the next major names in streaming. Instead, they feel the constant controversies have overshadowed many of his strengths. No matter how entertaining, energetic, or naturally charismatic he can be, discussions about him often end up focusing on the drama, arguments, and backlash rather than the actual content he creates. That is why many viewers describe the situation as a missed opportunity or wasted potential. In their eyes, a large portion of the damage to his reputation has come from choices that could have been avoided. At the same time, supporters point out that he is still very young and has plenty of time to grow, learn, and change course. However, critics argue that if the same patterns continue and the controversies keep escalating, rebuilding that public image could become much more difficult in the future. But plenty of viewers would disagree with that level of praise. Some people simply do not see Rakai reaching the same level as creators like IShowSpeed or even Kai, especially if he continues following the path that has brought him so much criticism. While his rise has been fast and attention-grabbing, many argue that long-term success requires more than just viral moments and controversy. Some critics believe that, in a different scenario, with more discipline, maturity, and stronger relationships with the people around him, Rakai could have positioned himself as one of the next major names in streaming. Instead, they feel the constant controversies have overshadowed many of his strengths. No matter how entertaining, energetic, or naturally charismatic he can be, discussions about him often end up focusing on the drama, arguments, and backlash rather than the actual content he creates. That is why many viewers describe the situation as a missed opportunity or wasted potential. In their eyes, a large portion of the damage to his reputation has come from choices that could have been avoided. At the same time, supporters point out that he is still very young and has plenty of time to grow, learn, and change course. However, critics argue that if the same patterns continue and the controversies keep escalating, rebuilding that public image could become much more difficult in the future. At the end of the day, Rakai's story is still being written. Some viewers believe he will eventually mature, learn from these controversies, and turn his platform into something much bigger. Others think the warning signs have been there for a long time and that the consequences will only grow if nothing changes. One thing is certain. Whether people support him or criticize him, Rakai continues to be one of the most talked about young creators on the internet, and everyone is watching to see what happens next. What do you think? Is Rakai simply a young creator making mistakes under a massive spotlight, or have the controversies gone too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others so more people can join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.